Greetings to all of you. So I'm very thrilled to participate to this session on European updates, European regulation updates. And I would like to thank Cosmetics Business Live for inviting me to this session. So I am Sandra Ferretti, part of Obelis group, and our company is a consultant and a responsible person for cosmetics. So we're representing quite a high number of manufacturers all around the world who want to be in compliance with their cosmetics in Europe. So let us start immediately with the subject. So I will talk today about the regulatory updates and explain you exactly what will be the changes or what has already changed in the regulatory framework. You might know that the current legislation is the European regulation on cosmetics, the 1223/2009 regulation. And this regulation has been fully applicable for quite some time now. And it's evolving. It's not just a static regulation, so it is changing over time. You have to know that it is the European Commission, along with the competent authorities, but also the stakeholders, which is making these changes. So this is through the working groups, so the cosmetics working group for the European regulation. So inviting all the stakeholders, the competent authorities, and also chaired by the European Commission. So they're meeting about 4 times a year, and I'm part of this working group, by the way, representing ERPA, which is the European Responsible Person Association for Cosmetic Products. So the updates are very simple. Either the changes are in the regulation itself, so the regulation will be amended, and these amendments will occur through the review of some ingredients, and we will talk about it, but also the amendment of the annexes. So you might know that there are several annexes in the regulation: annexes for forbidden ingredients, annexes for restricted ingredients, annexes for other ingredients, like, for example, UV filters that you can use. And then I will talk about Brexit, because this is a big change in the regulatory framework for all of you who are selling in the EU or in the UK or both. I'll let you read the chemical name, the scientific name. This ingredient, for example, has been published as a CMR substance in the CLP regulation. The CLP regulation, as you might know, is related to ECHA, so the European Chemical Agency, and is classifying certain substances or chemical which are carcinogenic, mutagenic, or reprotoxic. And then the cosmetics regulation is taking over these different substances to create legal certainty, and the annexes of the cosmetics regulation are being updated throughout the months with all these changes in the CLP regulation. So the CLP is the Classification, Labeling and Packaging Regulation, so the 1272/2008 regulation. So, for example, Lilal has been considered as a CMR 1B in the CLP from May 2020, and now has been published and banned as of 1st of March 2022 in the European Cosmetics Regulation. That is the consequence of it. Another ingredient, an important one that you might find in quite a number of cosmetic products, is titanium dioxide. The common use is for UV filter or pigments, and again, a certain opinion has been given by the SCCS regarding this specific substance in certain forms. So you can see when it's a powder or in fact when it can be inhaled, and it has been now banned, you can see from 2021 September in that specific form. For other forms, it can still be used, and you will find the specific uses in the Annex 3, 4, and 6 with the restrictions. Also zinc pyrithium. So again, in the CLP, it has been considered as CMR 1B. Common use is a dandruff, anti-dandruff agent, and now it's considered to be banned as of March 2022 in the European Cosmetics Regulation. So the same process as I explained. It's first published in the CLP, then the Cosmetics Regulation publishes it also in its own annexes to be sure that everybody from every industry, and here it's the cosmetic industry, will be aware of this ban. Again, methyl salicylate. So the common use is the oral care, perfuming. It's considered now as a CMR2 under the CLP, and it will be banned in the regulation, in the cosmetics regulation, as of December 2022. As you can see, it's not yet published in the CLP, but there are, of course, discussions between the different units at the European Commission, and they are anticipating this publication in the CLP as a CMR2 to publish it also in the cosmetics regulation, not to be too late. As you could see before, for these previous ingredients, there is a certain delay sometimes between the moment it's published in the CLP and then in the annex. Is quite a long process. So they're trying to now anticipate this publication. So, as you understood, this ingredient update is on an ongoing basis. As I was saying, the cosmetics working group is meeting quite often, 3-4 times a year, and there are ongoing discussions on endocrine disruptors, for example, all the CLP updates, what we called at the very beginning the Omnibus Act. So Omnibus Act is trying to take over quite a number of ingredients that have been published in the CLP to put them in the annexes of the regulation, the cosmetics regulation. And really, you need to keep an eye on the SCCS. So you can find on their website, if you simply Google SCCS, you will find it. It is really the body that will give opinion on any substance when it's given the mandate for it by the Commission, and give restrictions or opinions on the usage or simply the ban of this substance. So also not only these specific ingredients, but also in other annexes. So you will see that there are quite some updates in Annex 2, Annex 3, and Annex 6 of the regulation, the cosmetics regulation. For the Annex 2, so the list of forbidden substances, you have some new entries that have been published, for example, the latest one on the 12th of November 2020. You have also in the Annex 3 the list of substances with restrictions. This also has new entries, for example, for hair dyes and nail products. And also Annex 6, so the UV filters that you are permitted to use. You have one addition now in this annex dated from November 2020. Here again, I will not give you the full name, but commonly called the SA87 ingredient with a maximum percentage of 3%. So new element is the single-use plastic products. So, as you might know, the European Commission and the member states are quite environmental cautious, and then they introduced this requirement to label products when they are containing plastics. So you can see on the slide here. So from 3rd of July 2021, so this is soon, you will have to mark any products that are cosmetic products which are containing plastic. So it has to be labeled. And sometimes you will need some translation. So just be careful with this. And be careful that you are in compliance with your products which are placed on the market and which contain plastics. You can also add a sticker, so that's a good advice and a good tip to be in compliance. And this is for the, again, products containing plastics. So the Brexit, this is one of my favorite subjects. This happened finally 1st of January 2021 and was fully effective. So the UK cosmetics regulation is now applying for any manufacturer selling in the UK. Would you be a UK manufacturer or non-UK manufacturer, so a European one or a US one or a Chinese one, you will have to fulfill the regulation which is applying in the UK. You will have to also register, you had to register your products in the database, the UK database. So the SCPN, Submit Cosmetic Product Notification Portal. So it's quite equivalent to the CPNP, if you know the European registration portal. It's the Cosmetics Product Notification Portal. And you will have to do that as soon as possible, in fact, because it had to be on the 1st of January 2021. So any product that will circulate in the UK, you will need to register them in this database. So very important. But not just that, you also need to have a UK responsible person. So as equivalent to the EU responsible person, you will need to appoint a UK responsible person when you sell in the UK. So that's very important because it's a legal requirement. And if before you could use one single responsible person in the EU, because of the fact that the UK is no longer considered being EU member state, you will need to have an EU RP, so EU responsible person when you sell in France, for example, and a UK RP if you sell in the UK. So that's an important point, and you have the chance to have a 2 years transition period for the labeling only. So the requirement is now applicable, so you should have done it, and if not, as soon as possible, appointing a UK RP and also submitting your products in the portal, in the UK portal. So what else can we explain about these changes? For example, the EU has launched some consultation about the fragrance allergens labeling. So as you might know, there were some consultation with about 200 or more than 200 answers coming from the industry, but also from the consumers' side, regarding the fact that we should or not label fragrance allergens, or more fragrance allergen than already foreseen. And there are still ongoing discussions about it as to how to make it good, meaning adding more fragrance allergens, will it help or will it confuse the consumer? So these are the political discussions still a little bit ongoing. And also, for example, could we label these additional fragrance allergens electronically? So there are different point of views, and I would say that more or less the consumer side would say that electronic labeling is not really acceptable, and they would prefer it to have it on the labeling. So these are the current discussions. And yeah, for these allergens, you can see the quantities on the screen. So for leave-on and rinse-off products, they will have to be labeled. Finally, the endocrine disruptors. So these are chemicals that are altering the functioning of endocrine system. Would it be for the human being, but also for animals? So there were some calls for data from the European Commission regarding different lists of endocrine disruptors or suspected to be endocrine disruptors substances. And it's called the fitness check. So after a first round, and I would say a first study, the European Commission considered that the current framework, legal framework surrounding the endocrine disruptors, so meaning the ECHA framework, the CLP framework, and the European cosmetics legislation, was sufficient to protect the health and safety of the consumer. Although still there is an ongoing fitness check verifying that the chemical substances listed in two different lists, in fact, priority lists, let's say, Group A and Group B list. And these substances, the Commission has been asking for additional information, so a public call for data to be able to state whether and in which condition they can be used. So this is ongoing. Well, this is it for now. I thank you for your attention. You can ask questions at any time at my email, sandra@obelis.net. And I'm available for your questions. So thank you so much, and maybe see you soon.